Hi. So I haven't been uploading for a while, and that is for a few reasons. One of them being that I got a job. Now that got me thinking as to we don't think a lot about food when we are in a corporate setting, right? So this is another series or the kind of video that I wanted to do, which is corporate cooking with Bhonky. Now, I will never plan my recipes because I have never planned to do so, but I will basically share a few recipes that I use while taking my food that I cook over the night for my lunch, and yeah, stuff like that. So stay tuned and let's get into the recipe for today. So, what I generally do is I cook. I mean, that is pretty obvious, right? But what I do is I come back after my office to my house, and then I start cooking almost immediately. And what I do is I cook for 2 people. One I have for dinner, and the next I take for my lunch the next day. In our office, we have a microwave, so I just heat it up there, and then I eat the food. Now, what food should I cook today? A really good recipe that I have been cooking for quite a while is just some fried chicken breast and egg fried rice. Now, if you're a vegetarian, you can just substitute that chicken for paneer, which is also cottage cheese for my non-Indian viewers, which I don't have many of, but cottage cheese, like a cottage cheese steak, and instead of egg fried rice, you can have veg fried rice. So let's get into it. This is someone that I know, and she critiques my cooking all the time. Say hi. Okay, bye. So, first things first is let us butterfly and marinate some chicken. So, I will be using a chicken breast, which don't mind the mess right here, but I will be using the chicken breast for today, and the rest I will keep for pulao, curry, whatever I want to cook at one point of time. So this goes back into the freezer and we will continue cooking. So first things first, I want to butterfly some chicken. Do not mind the setup here. It's a little messy, but you know, it's the best that I can do. So right now I'm just going to butterfly this chicken so that it becomes a little thinner, and then I can cook it a little faster as well. Cooking for these like settings where you want the food to be cooked fast because you don't have a lot of time, or the fact that you don't want to use a lot of effort to actually cook all of these, understanding the technique is much more important than actually following recipes. This is a little loose, so I'll just cut this piece off. I'll cook this separately, and this will be the main breast. Again, after cooking, I'm going to chop it up into smaller pieces as well. So yeah, so I'll put this in a bowl so that I can let it marinate for a little while, and then we can get to the prep of the vegetables. I'm going to go and wash my hands now. So for this, I'm just going to add a little bit of pepper, freshly Ground, of course. Add as much as you like. I'm not going to give you recipes. You can customize all of this as in how you want. A little bit of salt that I kept in a coffee mug. Continental, if you do want to sponsor me, who knows? I don't have that big a subscriber base right now, but I believe. A little bit of salt. You don't want to over salt it. I would put a little bit of I would put a little bit of garlic powder here. Red chili flakes. Sorry. Just a tiny bit of hot sauce. I like this Capisco. So just a little bit. And then just mix it so that it can be marinated. And just let it sit for a little while. Cover it with a small plate or lid and just let it sit on the side. And this is me just setting up the camera so that I can get a better angle. Yeah, works I guess. Yeah. Also, by this, you can kind of understand as to when you're living alone and you have a lot of other responsibilities, it's not going to be a perfect setup all the time. You'll have a mess, you'll have a lot of containers drying or like being just everywhere. It's okay. Not everything has to be perfect. Say hello to empty water bottle. I need to get it filled soon. It's important that whenever you're handling meat, I don't know, but whenever you're handling something like a meat product, always make sure that after you're done using a chopping board or a knife that has been contaminated, wash it immediately. So just a little bit of dish soap, scrub it well, and what I'm going to do is, after scrubbing it, for the veggies, since I don't have another chopping board, I'm going to use the other side for it. The knife, I may not be using it for the next time, at least for today, but I'm just going to keep it washed and maybe use it later, I don't know. Yeah, let it dry. And once I'm done cooking, I'll be arranging everything. So in the next video, if all of this is not arranged, I lied. Now, as for the fried rice, I generally use quite a little bit of vegetables throughout my cooking. So what I do is, it's not like I'm cooking for a lot of people, right? So I won't be using an entire onion for the stuff that I eat. So what I do is, I cut my stuff and then all of what is left over from not cooking it, I keep it in containers like this. What it helps you to do is actually it does not let your vegetables dry out, and it keeps them a little, it helps the shelf life a little bit longer of the cut vegetables that you have left over. So I have a few things here and I'll show you what they are and we'll be cutting them. Now first things first, I'm going to mince some garlic. So I had peeled all of this earlier. I'm going to use 4 garlic cloves. You can add more if you want, but that is all that I am doing. It does not have to be very, very fine. So I'm actually a long way from home, and it was a little tough thinking about going away from home and getting a new job. After masters, it was a little tough understanding how to navigate life. Placements in my time weren't that great, so I had to look for a lot of jobs off campus, and yeah, I'm happy that I got one, and now I'm starting a new chapter in life. Next we are going to chop an onion. I want it finely diced, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, so I'm just going to do some slices and then cross slice them perpendicularly. I'm not that great with cooking terminologies. I'm not a professional chef or anything. I just like cooking. Just get them into small pieces and to cut them into small pieces or whatever. Again, it's not a fine dice, but it works. It works for me. Yeah. So I'll just put it on a medium-high setting, let it come to temperature, add a little bit of oil. Now this is a non-stick pan, so you don't need a lot of oil, but I just like having it. We have our chicken here. So that has been sitting for maybe around 15 minutes now. So just let the oil come up to temperature. Okay, it's reasonably hot. Let's see. Yeah, there is sound. I do like it. I'm going to let this sit and develop some color on one side. Once it has, I will be flipping it and cooking it on the other side. And till that time, I'm going to wash my hands and also wash this bowl because we'll need this later. See if there is some color right there. I do see some color, so I'm going to flip it now. Okay, could have gotten a better crust, but it's okay. We're going to flip it once more. So I'm just going to flip this as well. Okay, that's a decent enough crust, but I'm just going to let this cook for another 3 to 4 minutes, flip it once again, and then take it off the heat. So I'm just going to take this off and let the chicken rest, and I will get back to cooking my rice. Add a little bit more oil, spread that around, crack an egg. Crack, bruh. Just add a tiny pinch of salt, a little bit of ground black pepper, and just scramble that up. Add a little bit more oil, get the onions sweating a little bit, and I just want to soften them up a little bit, and then we'll be adding the rest of our veggies. I also cut a little bit of beans. I forgot to film that, but yeah, just going to let it sweat for a little while. Add our garlic, beans, and carrots. I'm not going to cook this at a very high heat. I just want them to soften a little before I add the rice. I'm going to add some rice. Now this was rice that I cooked yesterday and put it in the fridge, so it's pretty dried out, which is good for fried rice. So break it up a little bit, just across the rim, and at this point you want to be a little fast after adding it so that you can actually mix it before it dries up. So you want to get the color everywhere. If you don't have a wok and you want to get that crispy fried rice texture, you don't need to stir it as much. Just let it sit like this. get the bottom part a little bit crispier, and then you can just flip it and make the rest of it crispy as well. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt, freshly ground black pepper, a little bit of garlic powder. I'm going to put my eggs back in. Okay, we're making a mess, but that is fine. Corporate life is a mess. Now while that is going, I want to see if my chicken is cooked through, and I don't want it as like a big steak, I want it as smaller pieces. So I'm just going to check if it's cooked, and if it is, can I get the camera to, yeah, it's cooked well, tastes good. So we're going to chop this up into smaller pieces. It's not dry, but it's not like overly tender. I want a little bit of bite. I don't want it to be like a very tender steak or anything. I just want a little bit of bite in my pan-fried chicken. The fried rice looks nice and crispy. Half of my fried rice here that I'm going to eat for now, and the half I'll let it cool for a little while, and then I'll put it in a plastic container or Tupperware container, and then I'll keep it for tomorrow, that I'll just heat up and eat. So I basically made this much to eat for today, which is a good enough portion, and I have this much for tomorrow. So pretty good. Then I'm going to add my chicken on top. I'm going to add my chicken on top. Keep the rest for tomorrow. Chop it off into halves. So I'm going to use 2 quarters. Then a chili that I washed. Chop that up as finely as possible, but it's not really necessary. Now this pico de gallo I'm not going to keep for later, because when you add the salt it draws out the moisture, so I don't want to have watery pico de gallo for tomorrow, so I'm going to eat all of it today. Now this is the onions that we chopped earlier, and here is a tomato that I'm just going to roughly chop. I'm not going to bother with like finely dicing it, because at the end of the day I'm not serving it to anyone else, I'm just cooking it for myself. And at the end of the day I understand that presentation matters quite a bit, but if it's all about filling your stomach up, then you don't need to worry a lot about presentation, because you're the one eating it. I'm just going to put my tomatoes and chilies in, my onions in. Hopefully everything is on camera, because at the end of the day, if I'm not going to post it to YouTube or any kind of social media, am I going to get social validation? I don't think you should live for social validation, because it only makes you a little bit sadder. Add just a little bit of salt again. Instead of stirring this, what I'm going to do is just a bartender shake. Now, what I mean by a bartender shake is just this. It would have been a little better if I had coriander in it, but I forgot. So let's serve it up. So what I'm going to do is just take this off, and I'm not going to bother much about the presentation. I'm just going to put it to one side. Make it tidy for YouTube, and there you have it. Egg fried rice with chicken with a little bit of pico de gallo, and it serves 2 hungry people or 4 slightly hungry people. Here it is. Let's see how it tastes. I'm not going to lie to you. Tastes pretty good. It's not going to like blow your mind away, because at the end of the day, it's cooking on a budget, corporate cooking, I would say, quick cooking. That doesn't mean that this is not a great dish to add to your repertoire. And it's something that will fill you up. It's something which you can cook very easily. It's not something that requires a lot of skill. And for the ease of cooking, it's a pretty damn good dish. Now, if you like that video, please do make sure to like and subscribe. We are trying to get up to 500 subscribers, and then in the future, if everything goes well and I do stick to my upload schedule, hopefully we can reach 1000 soon and further and further. But till then, cook something which you like, cook something which you think you'll be able to make, and when you can do that, cook something that you want to, something that you crave, because when you cook that one thing that you crave, you feel like you have achieved the best in the world. Till then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.